We're going to talk about Google Drive shortcuts. It used to be that you could take a file and put it in multiple locations in Google Drive, kind of like different labels in Gmail. They've updated that so that it's a little bit easier to know what's the original and what is not the original. So now you have your original file, in this case, this mini byte slideshow, and it's in a specific location, and you can make shortcuts to it and put those in multiple other places. Other folders you own, other folders you have access to, shared drives. This makes it easier to find and organize files and for everyone to be able to know which is the original and which is shortcuts of those. Google Drive is actually replacing your files that are in multiple locations with shortcuts, so you might already see some in your Google Drive. You'll be able to recognize these shortcuts, the icon for the file or folder plus this little curved arrow on it. So let's take a look at how we can create these in Google Drive. First off, I'm going to go to a file I have access to. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to choose Add Shortcut to Drive. Next, I'll have to select where I want to put this shortcut, and I can place it in anything in my drive or in a shared drive. I'm going to go ahead and choose a shared drive for this and navigate to whatever level you would like to place it. And when you've got that level selected, choose Add Shortcut. And now in this case, the file I'm adding isn't shared with the people who have access to that location, in this case, that shared drive. So it's going to prompt me to share it. You can choose what level you want to share. The default is viewer. Just keep in mind that it's not going to inherit the permissions of the location. So you have to set it now for the best access. Or I could choose not to give access. In this case, I'm not going to share it so you can see what would happen if someone does not get access. So I'll choose Don't Give Access and I'll click Add Shortcut. In this second window here, you can see the file I just added into this. This is signed into a different account, and this is someone who didn't have access to this file originally, but has access to this location with shortcuts. Anyone who has access to the location, the folder, or the shared drive, for example, will be able to see the title of the shortcut. But in this case, since I didn't give access when I shared it, this person cannot actually open this file. There is a couple ways I would know that. As an end user who I'm trying to access this, I'll see a little lock and it's kind of a grayed out title here. When I hold my mouse over that, it's going to tell me that I need permission to open it. And there's an option here to request access. So keep in mind, if you want to make that process smoother, when you're creating a shortcut, go ahead and share it right when you do that for ease of access for everyone. I've just added that file again, and now there are actually two shortcuts, and this other person has access to both of them now because I updated the sharing. There is one other way to create a shortcut, and that is using keyboard shortcuts. So if I want to make a shortcut to this file here, I can use the keyboard shortcut Control C in Windows or Command C on Mac, and that's going to copy that file to a clipboard. Now I can navigate to the location where I want to put this. And from here, I would do Control Shift V on Windows or Command Shift V on Mac, and I'll see that I'm adding the shortcut, have that message in the bottom left-hand corner, and that would be how you paste it in. Now, as I mentioned, Google is actually replacing any files that was in multiple locations. It's replacing all of the subsequent locations with a shortcut. So you might even have shortcuts already in your drive that you didn't create because Google is simplifying that. There's actually a search tool you can use to find those shortcuts. So in the search bar in the top of Google Drive, click on the options to the right hand side of the search. Under Type, select Shortcuts, add anything else you want and click Search. And this is going to show you all of your shortcuts you have, plus on the right hand side the location of the shortcut. Now, let's say you want to find the original, like where is the original in your drive? When you right click on a file, on a shortcut, you'll see in the right click menu here, there's two sections, original file section and shortcut options. Now, quick note, your options might vary depending on your access to the location and the file or in the shortcut. So you might not see the same thing I see here, but under original file, there is show file location. And this would be how you can find where the original is. So again, the location of the shortcut shows up in the search on the right-hand side. So this particular shortcut is in the Do It Training demo. But if I want to find the original, right click and I'll choose show file location under the original file options. And it will bring me to the location of the original. There are some things to know about shortcuts. So the first thing, just like I showed earlier, if you add a shortcut to a folder or a shared drive, for example, anyone who has access to that location will be able to see the shortcut, but that doesn't mean they can open it. So you have to make sure, first off, that you realize everyone will see the title of this file, even if they can't access it. And B, if you want them to be able to access it, you have to also share it. And again, when you are adding it to a location, you might get a prompt to share it. If you want people to have access, make sure you choose the appropriate level of access and click Add Shortcut. And a few more here. You can make up to 500 shortcuts per file or folder, and each particular item can have up to 5,000 that people can make. If there is a shortcut created in a folder that you don't own, then you can't delete it. So if you're trying this out, be sure to test out creating shortcuts in a place you have access to remove them if you don't actually want. You can't actually make a shortcut to a shortcut, but you can make a copy of a shortcut, and that would act like another shortcut to the original file, but it would have a different name. So if I show you how that would work here, I'm going to go back here to my list of shortcuts. So I have this test create shortcut Google Doc here. I'm going to make a copy of it, and you'll see it's actually going to just create another shortcut with copy at the beginning of the name. And here is my copy. So I'm going to open both of these files, and you'll see they actually point to the same exact location. It's just the name of the shortcut is different here. So if I test this out, adding new content, here's the first link I went to, and when I go to the other one, you'll see it has that. So when you make a copy of a shortcut, it's just another link to the original, if that makes sense. If you want to learn more about shortcuts, take a look at some of Google's documentation about this. See the description for more information.